You're the 16th. Don't expect to last, Nathaniel Cross muttered as another nanny quit, defeated by his silent 5-year-old. 16 in 30 days. But passing the sunroom, Nath froze. There sat Zara, the new maid, and beside her, Ethan. The boy who hadn't spoken in 2 years was humming, tapping a xylophone to her lullaby. The neurologist's warning echoed, 3 months until permanent. How had she done this? And why was his father's investigator texting urgent? Nathaniel Cross watched nanny number 16 quit after 4 hours. This child needs institutionalization, not a nanny, she said. The door closed with finality. Nath loosened his tie, exhaustion crushing him. His Connecticut mansion, once a sanctuary, now felt like a tomb. 3 months ago, the neurologist delivered the verdict. His brain is rewiring for nonverbal existence. 4 to 6 months maximum. They were at month 3. Ethan, his 5-year-old son with bright green eyes who carried a stuffed rabbit named Quiet everywhere. 730 days of silence. Since Catherine, his ex-wife, pushed their 3-year-old away and left. Since Ethan's last word, Mommy. Nath was a billionaire who commanded boardrooms, but couldn't reach his own son. Couldn't buy back his voice. Then he heard it, humming, soft, melodic from the sunroom. He moved toward the sound and froze at the doorway. Zara Coleman, the maid hired that morning, stood dusting windows in her gray uniform, humming an old lullaby, and Ethan sat 3 feet from her, xylophone mallet in hand, tapping notes that matched her rhythm. Then the boy's mouth opened, humming, matching her pitch. Nath gripped the door frame, vision blurring. This stranger had done what 16 professionals couldn't. His phone buzzed. His father's investigator, urgent, background check complete. Call me. But watching Ethan make music after 2 years of silence, Nath knew one thing. He'd do whatever it took to keep that sound alive, even if it meant trusting a woman hiding secrets. Before we dive into how we got here, I want to say welcome. You're part of a community that believes in second chances, in love that heals, and in the power of showing up. If that resonates with you, subscribe and join us. And I'd love to know, have you ever witnessed a small miracle that changed everything? Drop your story in the comments below. Now let's go back to where it all began. Transition to backstory. To understand why Nathaniel Cross would bet everything on a stranger's lullaby, you'd have to go back to that morning. 4 hours before Zara walked through his door. 4 hours earlier, Nathaniel Cross's shoes clicked against marble as he led another stranger through his mansion. Nanny number 16, Ms. Patricia Holbrook, walked with the stiff posture of someone already regretting her decision. 20 years of child care experience. 3 Ivy League families. Glowing references. She wouldn't last until lunch. Ethan usually hides under the kitchen table, Nath said, his voice flat, or in the pantry, sometimes the laundry room. Ms. Holbrook's lips pressed thin. Mr. Cross, I assure you, I've worked with challenging children. You haven't worked with Ethan. They entered the kitchen. Sunlight poured through bay windows, illuminating perfect marble countertops and fresh flowers. Everything pristine, everything cold. Beneath the farmhouse table sat a small figure in a red shirt. Ethan, 5 years old, blonde hair that needed cutting. Bright green eyes that watched everything, said nothing. His arms wrapped around a threadbare stuffed rabbit. Brown, one ear flopped over, button eyes scratched from being clutched too long. Quiet. Miss Holbrook knelt, her voice shifting to practiced sing-song. Hello, Ethan. My name is Patricia. Would you like to come out? Ethan's eyes slid to her, then away. He turned his back, facing the wall, pulling Quiet closer. I brought toys. She pulled out colorful blocks, a puzzle, a car. Look at this. Ethan buried his face in the rabbit's worn fur. Nath leaned against the counter, arms crossed. He'd seen this 15 times before. Different nannies, same result. Ethan's sweetheart. Ms. Holbrook reached under the table. The boy flinched, drew his knees up, smaller, tighter, disappearing. She tried treats next, organic fruit snacks. Would you like a snack? We could have a picnic. Nothing. An hour later, Ms. Holbrook stood in the foyer, professional composure cracking. Mr. Cross, in 20 years, I've never encountered this level of resistance. This child needs intensive psychiatric intervention. Her eyes held pity and accusation. I can't help someone who won't be helped. The door closed. The echo filled the empty space. Nath's phone buzzed. The agency. Mr. Cross, I'm afraid we can't send anyone else. The director's voice was careful. The word has spread. 16 resignations in 30 days. Our nannies are calling him the silent terror. Nath ended the call, climbed the stairs to his office, closed the door. Medical files covered his desk. Appointment schedules, therapy notes, all failures. He pulled up Dr. Rahman's latest report. Brain scans filled the screen, colorful images of Ethan's brain, neural pathways highlighted in blue and red. The neurologist's voice message was still saved. Nath pressed play. Mr. Cross, the scans show continued pruning of the language centers. His brain is rewiring itself for nonverbal existence. 4 to 6 months maximum before these changes become permanent. After that, even if he wanted to speak, the pathways won't exist. Nate's eyes moved to the calendar. Today's date, 3 months ahead, circled in red. The deadline. They were halfway there. His hand trembled as he stared at the wedding photo in his drawer. Face down, dust on the silver frame. Catherine, who'd called their son exhausting and left. Who'd pushed 3-year-old Ethan away hard enough that he fell. Whose last image in their son's mind was her back, the door slamming. And Nath had been on a conference call, hadn't even heard Ethan's last word. Mommy? 730 days ago. A knock interrupted. Mrs. Chen appeared. Mr. Cross, the new cleaning service sent someone. I've got her started in the West Wing. Nath waved a hand. Fine, whatever. Her name is, I don't need her life story, just keep her out of my way. Mrs. Chen's mouth tightened, but she nodded and left. An hour later, eyes burning from medical journals, Nath stood. He needed to check on Ethan. Make sure the boy had eaten. He walked down the hallway toward the sunroom. Then he heard it. Humming, soft, melodic, female. A voice younger than Mrs. Chen's, warmer, carrying a tune he didn't recognize. Nath slowed. The sunroom door stood open. A woman in a gray uniform stood on a step stool, wiping the tall windows. Dark hair pulled into a practical bun. She hummed while she worked, unself-conscious, the melody rising and falling. And sitting on the floor, not hiding, not under furniture, but cross-legged on the Persian rug in plain sight, was Ethan. Nath's breath caught. The boy had a xylophone in front of him, one of the instruments the music therapist had left months ago. Ethan had never touched it. Now his small hand gripped the mallet. As the woman hummed, Ethan lifted it, brought it down on the colored bars, ting. One note, she kept humming, kept wiping, didn't look at him, ting, ting. 2 more notes. Following the rhythm of her melody, Nath's hand found the door frame, gripped it. The woman turned slightly to reach higher. Kind eyes, calloused hands, a worn music box visible in her uniform pocket, and Ethan's mouth opened. Sound came out, not words, but humming, soft, uncertain, matching her pitch, the xylophone and the humming together. His son making music, making sound, making something. After 730 days of silence, Nath couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't do anything but watch this impossible moment. His phone buzzed once, twice, three times. He pulled it out with shaking hands, glancing at the screen. A text from his father's private investigator. Urgent. Background check on new household staff complete. Call immediately. Another buzz. You need to see this. Nath's thumb hovered over the call button. Then Ethan hummed again, fuller this time, and the woman smiled. Small, genuine, natural. Nath lowered the phone. Whatever his father had found could wait. This moment, this miracle, this woman who'd done in 1 hour what 16 professionals couldn't do in 2 years. This couldn't. He watched his son play music and wondered who the hell Zara Coleman really was. Nath stood frozen in the doorway, barely breathing. His hand gripped the door frame, knuckles white. In the sunroom, Ethan tapped the xylophone, hesitant notes matching Zara's humming. Don't move, don't break this. Nath's hand slid toward his phone. He should document this. Show Dr. Rahman. His thumb hovered over the camera app, then stopped. It felt invasive, like capturing a wild animal that might bolt. He lowered the phone and watched. Don't get invested. You've hoped before. But Ethan was humming, soft, uncertain, but real. Zara didn't look at the boy, just wiped the windows in slow circles, her melody simple and sweet. She reached higher, and Ethan's tapping followed her rhythm change. One note, two, a pattern. She shifted her melody to match his tempo. The connection was so subtle, Nath almost missed it. She wasn't directing. She was following. His chest tightened. 2 hours later, Nath found Zara in the kitchen, washing supplies in the utility sink. Her sleeves were rolled up, revealing forearms marked with faded scars. What did you do in there? The words came out sharp. Zara looked up, surprised. Water dripped from her hands. In where, Mr. Cross? The sunroom with Ethan. He crossed his arms. He was making sounds. He hasn't done that in 2 years. Her eyebrows lifted. I didn't realize I was just cleaning. Just cleaning. Nath's jaw tightened. You were humming. He was playing the xylophone. Zara dried her tannins, movements careful. Maybe he needed someone who wasn't trying to make him do anything. The words hit like a slap. Nath's defensiveness rose. I'm his father, then crumbled under 730 days of failure. He doesn't respond to anyone, Nath said quieter. Maybe he will when he's ready. Zara folded the towel, eyes kind but not pitying. Children know when we're waiting for something from them. Sometimes the best thing is to just be. She excused herself and left. Nath stood alone, her words echoing. He found Mrs. Chen in her office, sorting files. The new maid, Zara Coleman, what do you know about her? Mrs. Chen pulled a thin folder. Community college education, no special certifications, previous work, nursing home aide, daycare assistant, hospice volunteer. She looked up. References are excellent. Everyone mentions extraordinary patience and a gift with difficult cases. That's it? Clean background check. 2 jobs, lives in Bridgeport. Mrs. Chen studied him. Is there a problem? No. Nath took the file. No problem. But climbing the stairs, questions multiplied. Who was this woman? Why was she cleaning houses when she had a gift for reaching broken people? Ethan's room was dark except for the nightlight. The boy slept, quiet clutched to his chest. Nath sat on the floor and pulled out the bin of drawings from under the bed. Dozens of them. 2 years of failed therapies. He spread them across the carpet. Every figure had no mouth. Stick people, detailed people, animals. Buildings had windows and doors, but people, always mouthless. His hands shook, finding the family portrait. 3 figures. Tall one labeled Daddy, phone in hand. Medium one labeled Mommy. Thick X slashed across her body. Small one labeled Me. No mouth, just eyes. The memory hit. Catherine's voice, sharp. Let go, Ethan! 3-year-old Ethan clinging to her legs, face streaked with tears. Mommy, please! I can't mother these little monsters. Her pushing him, his small body hitting the floor. The door slamming. Nath arriving an hour later, still on his conference call, Bluetooth in his ear, to find Ethan collapsed in the foyer, silent. Mommy, his last word, centered 30 days ago, and Nath had been on the phone. His phone buzzed. Harrison's message, still unopened. Need to discuss your household staff. Call me. Nath deleted it. He didn't need his father's voice tonight, reminding him he was weak, incompetent, a failure. He gathered the drawings and slid the bin back. At 8 o'clock, Nath tried bedtime, sat beside Ethan's bed with a picture book. Want to hear a story? Ethan turned to the wall, clutched quiet tighter. Okay, Nath whispered. Maybe tomorrow. He retreated to the hallway, defeated. Then he heard it from downstairs, humming. Zara cleaning the kitchen. The melody drifted up, soft and constant. Nath looked back at Ethan's door. It cracked open wider. The boy's silhouette appeared, standing in his pajamas, listening. His head tilted toward the sound, toward the humming that filled the empty spaces. For the first time in 730 days, Ethan moved toward something instead of away. Nath's throat tightened. Tomorrow, he'd give Zara access to Ethan. Officially, against all logic, against every professional opinion. What did he have to lose? His son was already silent. But maybe this woman who hummed could reach the places no one else could. Even if he didn't understand how. Even if his father would call him a fool. Even if it meant trusting a stranger with the most precious thing he had left. The neurologist's office smelled like antiseptic and defeat. Nath sat across from Dr. Rahman's desk while Ethan perched on the examination table, legs dangling, quiet clutched tight. The walls were covered with child development charts, milestones Ethan had abandoned 730 days ago. Let's have a look, Ethan. Dr. Rahman approached with a penlight. Follow this light for me, boy. Ethan's green eyes tracked the movement. Left, right, up, down. Good. Dr. Rahman checked his ears, throat, reflexes. Ethan allowed it all. Didn't fight, didn't flee. Small victory. Dr. Rahman pulled up brain scans on his monitor. Colorful images filled the screen. Ethan's brain in blues and reds, neural pathways highlighted. The language centers. He pointed to dimmer sections. They're pruning. The brain is efficient, Mr. Cross. Use it or lose it. Biologically speaking. Nath stared at the screen. Those dim areas were his son's voice disappearing. How long? 12 weeks, maybe 16 if we're fortunate. Dr. Rahman turned. After that, the brain commits to nonverbal processing. The pathways won't just be dormant, they'll be gone. A calendar appeared on screen. 12 weeks marked in red. So many boxes, not enough boxes. But if there's progress, then we have hope. Has there been any? Nath thought of the humming. Yes, small things. Then don't stop whatever you're doing. Every sound matters now. That night, Nath installed a camera in the sunroom, hidden behind a plant. His hands shook positioning it. This felt wrong, spying, but he needed to see. He watched the footage in his office. Day 3, Zara dusting, humming. Ethan on the floor, 3 distinct notes. Ting, ting, ting. Nath's hand covered his mouth. Day 5, Zara watering plants, singing, Ethan humming along. Same melody, 30 full seconds. Tears blurred his vision. Day 7, Zara sorting buttons, Ethan beside her, close enough their shoulders touched. Nath's breath hitched. Ethan never sat that close to anyone. The next afternoon, Nath came home to find Zara setting up finger paints at the kitchen table. Newspaper covered the surface. Jars of primary colors arranged. Cup of water. Ethan stood in the doorway watching. Zara sat and dipped her finger in red, drew a circle, added yellow rays, a sun, blue paint, a tree, green leaves, an orange bird. Ethan stepped closer. Zara painted purple flower petals. Ethan's hand reached forward. His finger touched yellow paint, pressed to paper. A dot, bright and perfect. Zara smiled but didn't look at him. Ethan added another dot, a streak, then his whole hand, blue paint squishing between fingers. An hour later, they were covered in paint. Yellow streaks in Zara's hair. Blue handprint on Ethan's shirt. The paper an explosion of color. Chaotic, joyful, alive. Ethan was laughing. No sound but shoulders shaking, mouth wide, eyes crinkled. Nath stood frozen in the doorway. Next day he tried to join, sat at the table. "Can I paint too?" Ethan's smile vanished. He stepped back, put down his brush. "Ethan, I just want to." Nath reached for green paint. The boy walked away, out of the kitchen, gone. Nath's fist hit the table. "I'm his father. Why won't he let me near him?" Zara rinsed her hands. "He sees you as pressure. Every doctor, every therapist, they all wanted something from him. You do too." "I want my son back." "He's not gone, Mr. Cross." Zara dried her hands. "He's protecting himself. Stop trying to fix him. Just sit with him." That evening, Nath sat on Ethan's bedroom floor. No book, no talking, just sat. Ethan lay on his bed, watching. Suspicious, clutching quiet. The clock ticked. 5 minutes passed. Nath didn't move. 10 minutes. 15. Ethan slid off the bed, sat on the floor 5 feet away. They sat together in silence. Tears ran down Nath's face. He didn't wipe them. Didn't move. Harrison Cross arrived unannounced 3 days later. Town car in the drive. Man in his 70s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. He walked through the mansion criticizing. "You're living in a mausoleum, Nathaniel. Catherine was right, you've given up." In the hallway, he passed Zara with cleaning supplies. "And you are?" "The new maid, sir." Harrison's eyes narrowed. In Nate's office, Harrison stood by the window. 16 nannies in a month. You're a laughing stock." "Ethan is making progress." "With a maid?" Harrison's expression showed disgust. "You're desperate. The boy needs professionals, a residential facility, structure. He needs time and love." Harrison laughed cold. "Love didn't save your marriage. It won't save him either." He headed for the door. "I'll make calls. Get you real solutions." "Don't. This is my decision." Harrison paused. "Then make better ones." That night, Nath watched security footage. Zara and Ethan painting, hands moving in rhythm. Her humming. His silent laughter. Harrison's words echoed. Desperate, laughing stock. His phone showed the calendar. 11 weeks remaining. He watched his son smile on screen and wondered if hope was enough. Week 3 began with a triangle. Zara set it on the sunroom floor beside the xylophone. Silver metal, small striker hanging from a string. She didn't explain it, didn't demonstrate, just left it there while she dusted. Ethan circled it twice, touched the striker with one finger, lifted it. Ting. He paused, lifted it again. Ting, ting, ting. A rhythm, deliberate, repeating. Day 2 brought a tambourine. Ethan shook it once, then held it close to his ear. Shook it again, studying how the metal jingles danced. His face serious, concentrating. Day 5, a small drum. He touched the surface hesitantly as if it might bite. Tapped once, the sound startled him. Then he smiled, just a flicker, but real. He tapped again, harder, a beat, then another. His whole hand slapping the drum head rhythm building, getting louder, freer. Nath watched from the doorway, his chest tight. Ethan's face was opening, the constant wariness softening into something that looked almost like joy. On day 6, Ethan reached into Zara's apron pocket. She was humming, arranging books on a shelf, when a small hand slipped into the fabric, pulled out the music box. Worn wood, faded paint, a tiny brass key on the side. Zara turned, surprised. "Oh," her voice caught. "That was my mother's." Ethan looked up at her, waiting. She knelt beside him. "May I show you?" He nodded. Her fingers, calloused, careful, wound the key. 3 full turns. She opened the lid. A delicate ballerina spun on a tiny platform. The mechanism played a lullaby, tinkling and fragile, the same melody Zara hummed. Ethan's eyes went wide, mesmerized. Zara placed it in his hands. Gentle, okay. He cradled it like something precious, watched the ballerina turn. The music slowed, winding down. He looked at Zara. She wound it again. When the song finished, Ethan carefully, so carefully, handed it back. Zara's eyes filled with tears. Ethan noticed. His small hand reached up, patted her cheek. Her breath hitched. "Thank you, sweetheart." That night, Nath sat in his office, laptop open, researching. Music therapy, neurological studies, clinical trials. The articles piled up. Music activates Broca's area, the language center. Melodic intonation therapy for stroke patients who'd lost speech. Treatment protocols for apraxia, selective mutism, trauma-induced silence. Everything Zara was doing intuitively, professionals had spent decades systematizing. He pulled up her employment application, scrolled to the bottom. Special skills. Patience, music, 2 words. He had barely glanced at them a month ago. Now they were saving his son. The next evening, Nath found Zara setting the kitchen table for dinner. 3 plates. "Mr. Cross?" She looked confused. "Join us, please." He pulled out a chair. "I'd like to understand what you're doing." Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway, eyebrows raised. The maid eating with the family, boundaries crossed. Nath ignored her. "You don't have to," Zara started. "Call me Nath, and I do. I need to understand." She sat, uncertain. Ethan climbed into his usual chair, quiet propped beside his plate. They ate in silence for a moment. Then Nath asked, "How does the music work?" Zara set down her fork. "Music bypasses the parts of the brain that hold trauma. It reaches the parts that still want to connect." Ethan ate his chicken, listening. "Where did you learn this?" Nath leaned forward. Zara's expression shifted, careful. "I had a complicated childhood. Lots of reasons to stop talking. Music gave me a voice when I couldn't use my own." She didn't elaborate. Nath didn't push, but he wondered. What had happened to her? Ethan pushed his plate toward Zara. 3 peas left. He looked at her. "For me?" Zara's voice softened. Ethan nodded. She took 1 pea. "Thank you." Ethan smiled, small but unmistakable. Nath and Zara's eyes met across the table. Something unspoken passed between them. The next morning, Ethan appeared in the kitchen carrying a piece of paper. He walked straight to Zara and handed it to her. A drawing, 2 figures, one tall with long hair and music notes floating around her head, one small with a xylophone. Both figures had mouths. Small, curved lines, smiles. The first mouths in any of Ethan's art in 2 years. Zara's hand covered her mouth. "Oh, sweetheart, this is beautiful." She taped it to the refrigerator. Ethan pointed to the tall figure, then to Zara, then to the small figure, then to himself. He nodded, "Yes, us." Dr. Rahman arrived for the week 4 assessment. He tested Ethan's responses, complex instructions, parallel play, social engagement. "Follow the red block with your eyes, Ethan." "Good. Now hand me the blue one." "Excellent." Ethan complied, calm, cooperative. The new brain scan showed changes. Dr. Rahman pulled up the images on his tablet, comparing them to last month's. There's increased neural activity in the language centers. He looked at Nath. Not enough yet, but it's more than I expected. Nath's shoulders sagged with relief. But Mr. Cross, the Rahman's tone shifted. You have 8, maybe 9 weeks left. He needs to start forming words, not just sounds. The progress is promising, but the clock is still ticking. The pressure returned, crushing. That night, after Ethan went to bed, Nath found Zara in the kitchen, washing dishes. What if we run out of time? The question came out raw. Zara dried her hands. Then we'll know we tried everything. With love. I failed him. Nath's voice broke. I was building a company while his world collapsed. I wasn't there when Catherine left. I didn't even hear his last word. You're here now. Zara's eyes held his. That's what matters. Nath's hand moved toward hers on the counter, stopped inches away. He was feeling something beyond gratitude, something dangerous and warm and terrifying. He pulled back. That night, a new ritual formed. Zara stood outside Ethan's door, humming the lullaby from the music box. Nath sat inside on the floor, silent, just present. Ethan lay in bed between their two presences, one voice, one silence, and his eyes slowly closed. For the first time in 730 days, he fell asleep without clutching quiet. The rabbit lay beside him, but his hands were open, relaxed, trusting. Week 5 began with dolls. Zara brought a box to the sunroom, family figures in different skin tones, sizes, clothes. She arranged them on the floor, living room furniture, tiny couch, table. Ethan watched from his corner, xylophone forgotten. Zara picked up the mother doll and child doll. Mommy doll is going to the store. Baby doll says goodbye. She made the baby wave. Bye, Mommy. The mother doll left the scene. Baby doll waits. Zara made the small figure sit. Then she brought the mother back. Mommy's home. Baby doll is so happy. The two dolls hugged. Ethan's body tensed, his eyes locked on the dolls. Third session, Ethan reached forward. His hands hovered over the box, then grabbed 3 figures. Daddy, Mommy, Baby. He set up a breakfast scene, table, 3 chairs, the dolls sitting together. Then the mommy doll stood, walked away from the table. The baby doll followed, clung to the mommy doll's legs. Ethan's small hands made the mommy doll push. The baby doll fell, hit the floor hard. The mommy doll walked to the edge of the rug, left the house. The baby doll lay there, alone, still. Ethan's eyes filled with tears, the first tears Nath had seen in months. Zara's voice came soft. Baby doll is very sad. Ethan nodded, tears spilled down his cheeks. Baby doll didn't do anything wrong. Zara picked up the mommy doll carefully. Sometimes mommies have their own hurts. She held the doll at the edge of the rug. Can mommy come back and say sorry? Ethan stared at the doll, hesitant. Zara walked the mommy doll back, knelt it beside the baby, made her voice gentle, apologetic. I'm sorry, baby. You didn't make me leave. I was confused and Zara, but you are good and loved. The mommy doll and baby doll embraced. Ethan's face crumpled. Silent puffs shook his small shoulders. He collapsed into Zara's lap, clutching her shirt, grief pouring out. 730 days of held pain breaking open. Zara held him, rocked him, hummed through her own tears. Nath stood in the doorway, watching his son finally cry. His own tears streamed freely. Zara looked up, saw him. A slight nod. This is good. Let him grieve. Nath stepped forward, wanting to comfort, to hold. Zara's subtle head shake. Not yet. He stopped, stayed in the doorway, bore witness. 20 minutes later, Ethan fell asleep in Zara's arms, exhausted. She carried him to the couch, covered him with a blanket, smoothed his hair. Nath approached. Is he okay? He's better than okay. Zara's voice was hoarse. He's feeling. That's the first step to healing. I should have. Nath's voice broke. I didn't know how to help him through the grief. You were grieving too. Zara met his eyes. You can't pour from an empty cup. They stood close, watching Ethan sleep. Nath's hand rested on the couch back. Zara's hand inches away. I don't know how to thank you, Nath whispered. Love him. That's enough. Their fingers nearly touched. Ethan stirred, shifted. They stepped apart. The silence between them charged with unspoken feelings. Meanwhile, across town, Harrison Cross studied photographs spread across his desk. Teenage Zara outside Cross Industries headquarters. Protest sign in her hands. Justice for the 12. Newspaper clipping. Factory fire kills 12. Cross Industries sued. Legal documents. Coleman v. Cross Industries. Settled out of court. The investigator stood across from him. Her father was one of the 12. Mother became homeless after the settlement ran out. The daughter worked her way through community college on scholarships. Harrison's expression stayed cold, calculated. And now she's in my son's house, with my grandson. How convenient. That week, Ethan drew constantly. First drawing, 3 figures at breakfast table. Daddy, Zara, Ethan, all with small, curved mouths. Second, figures with instruments. Mouths open, music notes floating. Third, 4 figures holding hands. Labels in crayon. Daddy, Ethan, Zara, Grandpa. All smiling. Nath studied the progression. Closed mouths to open. Silence to song. The family Ethan was imagining. A family that included Zara. Week 5, day 4. Bedtime. Nath sat on the edge of Ethan's bed with a picture book. Want to hear a story? Ethan didn't turn away. Nath started reading. Halfway through, Ethan scooted closer. By the end, he leaned against Nath's side. Nath's hand trembled as he smoothed Ethan's hair. Both their faces peaceful. First father-son closeness in 2 years. Good night, buddy, Nath whispered, tucking him in. As he stood to leave, Ethan's hand shot out, grabbed his. Nath froze. Ethan held on. 5 seconds, then released. Nath walked into the hallway, vision blurred. Zara stood there, tears streaming down her face. She'd seen. Without thinking, Nath pulled her into his arms. She collapsed against him, both of them crying, holding each other. Comfort, gratitude, something more. They broke apart awkwardly, stepped back, the unspoken feelings loud in the silence between them. If this story is touching your heart, let me know by hitting the like button. It tells me these stories matter to you. And here's my question. Who in your life showed up for you when you needed it most? Share their name in the comments. Let's honor the Zaras in our lives. Now, let's see what happens when the past comes knocking. Breakfast felt almost normal. Nath sat at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, actually relaxed. Ethan tapped his spoon against his plate. Rhythm, pattern, music. Zara hummed along while she cut fruit, matching his tempo. Nath smiled, first real smile in years. Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway, face tight. Mr. Cross, there's a woman at the gate, with cameras. The security monitor showed a woman in a cream designer suit, blonde hair perfectly styled. Camera crew behind her, news van parked on the street. Catherine. She spoke directly into the camera, poised and polished. I made mistakes, but a mother's love is irreplaceable. My son needs me, and I'm ready now. Nath's hands curled into fists. She left him, called him exhausting, walked away. Ethan stood in the doorway, staring at the screen. He saw her. His spoon clattered to the floor. He bolted. They found him under his bed, clutching quiet, whole body trembling. The courier arrived an hour later. Legal envelope. Nath's hand shook as he opened it. Custody petition. Catherine Hayes Cross seeking primary custody on grounds of father's inadequate care and child's lack of progress under his supervision. Evidence listed, child still nonverbal after 2 years. Father's documented work obsession. Unstable caregiving environment. 16 nannies in 30 days. Hearing scheduled, 6 weeks. The paper slipped from Nath's fingers. His lawyer called that afternoon. I'm digging into Catherine's motives. She's engaged to Preston Bradley, the guy running for state senate. So his campaign strategy requires a complete family image. I'm working on getting communications between her and his team. Nath hung up. All he could see was Catherine's face on that screen and Ethan running. Ethan wouldn't come out from under the bed. Zara sat outside his door, humming. She slid drawings under. Flowers, suns, birds. No response. She left the music box where he could reach it. Day 2, the music box disappeared. She heard it playing faintly. Progress. Day 3, Ethan emerged for meals, silent, eyes down. Wouldn't touch his instruments. His new drawings were scribbled black marks, violent, chaotic. Dr. Rahman called. I heard about the custody petition. Mr. Cross, any major stress can undo months of progress. What's his state? Regressed completely. You have 9 weeks left until the neurological deadline. He can't afford setbacks now. Zara found Nath in his office. He's terrified she'll take him away. I won't let that happen. He doesn't know that. Zara's voice was gentle but firm. Last time he couldn't stop her from leaving. He thinks if she wants him, he'll have to go. Harrison arrived unannounced the next day, walked through the house like he owned it. Heard about Catherine's petition. This is your fault, Nathaniel. You enabled her, then couldn't keep her. He criticized the decor, Nath's parenting, the circus of nannies. In the hallway, he passed Zara carrying fresh linens. Ms. Coleman, is it? His eyes were ice. Interesting background you have. Zara's expression stayed neutral. I'm sorry? Nothing. Harrison smiled without warmth. Yet. In Nath's office, Harrison closed the door. Catherine's right about one thing. The boy hasn't improved enough. Still silent. He's making progress, Nath said. You don't see the daily progress. Harrison's laugh was sharp. He's still broken. You need professionals, facilities, structure, not some maid playing therapist. He needs love. Love didn't fix him. That maid won't either. Harrison leaned forward. Wake up before you lose him to Catherine. What do you really know about Zara Coleman? The next morning, Harrison returned with a file. He spread photographs across Nath's desk. Documents, newspaper clippings yellowed with age. Teenage Zara outside Cross Industries headquarters. Protest sign in her hands, Justice for the 12. Headline, Factory Fire Kills 12, Cross Industries Sued. Legal documents, Coleman v. Cross Industries, settled out of court. Her father was one of the 12 who died, Harrison said. Fire in our factory. Faulty wiring, inadequate safety measures. We settled to avoid publicity. Nath stared at the photo. Young Zara, face twisted with grief and rage. The settlement ran out in 5 years. Mothers in Medicaid-funded assisted living now. Dementia. Harrison tapped the photo, and the daughter worked her way through community college, took jobs in caregiving, and somehow ended up here, in your house, with your son. Nath's voice came out hoarse. She knew who we were. Of course she did. Harrison's expression was grim. This is revenge, Nathaniel. She's using your son to destroy you from the inside. And when Catherine's lawyer finds out you've got the daughter of a dead factory worker living in your home, treating your child without credentials, You'll lose everything. Nath stared at the photos, at teenage Zara's face, so full of pain. Her words echoed, I had a complicated childhood. She'd lied, by omission, but still. Fire her, Harrison said. Today, before she costs you your son. Nath's heart screamed no. His head whispered maybe. He looked toward the sunroom where Zara sat with Ethan, trying to coax him out of his shell again. Was everything she'd done a lie? And a setup? Or was she exactly who she seemed, someone who understood his son's pain because she'd lived it? He didn't know anymore. I need to talk to her, Nath said. Harrison stood. Don't be a fool twice. Nath walked toward the sunroom. Each step felt heavier. Zara looked up, saw his face. Her expression shifted, concern, then understanding. She knew something was wrong. We need to talk, Nath said. Zara's room above this garage was sparse. Single bed with a faded quilt, small dresser, photo of a couple on the nightstand, her parents, younger, smiling, books on child development stacked beside the bed. Nath stood in the doorway, file in hand. Did you know who we were when you applied here? Zara's face went pale. Long silence stretched between them. Yes. She sat on the bed, hands trembling. I was 17 when the fire happened. My father was shift supervisor at your factory. He went back in to get 2 workers still inside. The roof collapsed. Her voice cracked. Your company settled. Not because you admitted fault, but because fighting would cost more than paying us off. Nath stood frozen. My mother never recovered. Grief, then dementia. The settlement paid for 5 years of care. Then, nothing. Tears streamed down her face. I was furious. At your family, your company, your money that couldn't bring him back. I saw the news story about Ethan, Zara continued. 16 nannies in a month, the photo of him. Those eyes, I saw myself. She looked up at Nath. I told myself I'd come to witness karma, see the great Cross family suffering. And then, Nath's voice was hoarse. Then I met him, a little boy who lost his voice the same day I started finding mine. Her hands twisted in her lap. I didn't come to help you at first. I came for him. Because nobody helped me, and I survived anyway, and maybe that meant something. Nath's mind warred. Harrison's voice. She's using you. But what he saw was genuine pain, genuine tears. Catherine's betrayal was still raw. How could he trust again? How do I know this isn't calculated? The words tasted bitter. That you're not positioning yourself for another lawsuit, using my son? Zara flinched like he'd slapped her. Step back. You don't. Her voice was quiet, dignified. You can't. Trust is improvable. She pulled a small bag from under the bed, started packing, a few clothes, the photo of her parents, the books. I thought maybe I'd found something here. Family, purpose, healing. She folded a shirt with shaking hands. But I'm still just the help to you, the hired help you can't quite trust. Zara, wait. Nath reached forward. If you have to ask if I'm lying, I've already lost. She zipped the bag. I won't stay where I'm not trusted. Neither of them noticed the small figure in the doorway. Ethan stood there, clutching quiet, staring at Zara's packed bag. His face showed recognition, terror. Mommy left with it back. He ran forward, grabbed Zara's legs, opened his mouth. No. The word came out broken, desperate, barely a whisper. Everyone froze. Ethan, louder. Don't go. Tears streamed down his small face. Then clearly, please. 3 words, for the first time in 730 days. Zara dropped the bag, fell to her knees, pulled him into her arms. Ethan sobbed into her shoulder. No more words, but the dam broken. Nath stood paralyzed, tears streaming down his face. Harrison appeared on the stairs. He'd heard everything. His eyes moved from Ethan speaking to Zara holding him to Nath's tear-streaked face. For once, Harrison Cross had nothing to say. Ethan clung to Zara. Stay, stay, stay. Repetitive, desperate, but speaking. Zara looked at Nath over Ethan's head. I'm staying for him, not for you, until you decide what you believe. Nath called Dr. Rahman immediately. He spoke? Full words? What triggered it? Emotional extremity. He thought she was leaving. That broke through the final barrier. Dr. Rahman paused. But Mr. Cross, he may go silent again. He needs absolute stability now. 7 weeks left until the neurological deadline. Don't let him lose this. That night, Zara moved to a guest room in the main house, closer to Ethan. The boy wouldn't let her out of his sight. When she tried to put him to bed in his own room, he followed her, curled up on the floor of her room with his blanket and quiet. She didn't send him away. Nath stood in the hallway watching through the cracked door. His son had spoken. The woman he was falling for might be his enemy or his savior. He had to choose what to believe. Downstairs, Harrison sat in the library, the file still open on his lap, reconsidering everything. Late that night, Ethan woke. Small voice in the darkness. Zara, her response immediate. I'm here, sweetheart. Don't go away. Never. Nath stood in the hallway listening. Catherine's lawyer's letter in his hand. Custody hearing 6 weeks away. The question burned through him. Can he trust her? The answer terrified him. Can he afford not to? 6 weeks had passed. Ethan now spoke in 2 3-word sentences. Want juice? Zara, look. Daddy, come. Tentative. Fragile, but real. Dr. Rahman's assessment that morning was cautious. Significant improvement, but not age-appropriate yet. He needs continued stability. 3 weeks left until the neurological deadline. Today they had to prove Ethan was better with Nath. Media swarmed the courthouse steps. Catherine stood with her lawyer, designer suit perfect, Preston Bradley beside her flashing his political smile. Nath held Ethan's hand. Zara walked beside them, subpoenaed as a witness. Ethan's small hand gripped Zara's. Scared. I know, sweetheart. She squeezed back. Just tell the truth. Catherine's lawyer opened. A mother's absence doesn't erase her rights. Catherine Cross made mistakes. But she's ready to provide stable maternal care. Evidence presented. Nath's work hours, 16 nanny turnover. Ethan's speech still delayed. A psychiatrist testified, children need maternal figures for healthy attachment. The judge took notes, expression neutral. Catherine took the stand, polished and remorseful. I was suffering from undiagnosed postpartum depression. I've had 2 years of therapy. I think about Ethan every day. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I can provide what he needs, a mother's love, stability, a complete family. Cross-examination. Why didn't you visit in 2 years? I was ashamed. I wanted to be healthy before I came back. Spectators murmured sympathetically. Nath took the stand. His lawyer had advised against it. I worked while my family fell apart, Nath said. I threw money at problems instead of showing up. He looked at the judge. But Zara showed me Ethan doesn't need to be fixed. He needed to be seen, heard, loved. His lawyer presented Rahman's scans. Before and after, neural activity increased. Video footage showed Ethan humming, playing instruments, drawing, speaking. Nath's voice strengthened. Catherine wants credit for biology, but where was she for 730 days of silence? Catherine's lawyer objected. The judge allowed it. Nath's lawyer stood. Your Honor, new evidence. Text messages displayed on screen. Catherine to Preston's campaign manager. We need the kid for family values voters. Campaign manager's response. Custody battle gives us sympathy angle. Work the redemption story. Catherine's composure shattered. Preston shifted uncomfortably. He's my son. I have a right. Catherine's voice rose. Mrs. Cross, compose yourself. The judge's tone was ice. Damage done. Zara took the stand, hands trembling. Catherine's lawyer attacked immediately. Ms. Coleman, your father died in a Cross Industries accident, correct? Yes. And you blame this family? I did, for a long time. So you infiltrated their home for revenge? The courtroom stirred. Zara's voice stayed steady. I came angry. I left anger behind when I met a little boy who needed love more than I needed revenge. She detailed Ethan's progress, the music, the art, the breakthroughs. I could have hated Ethan for his last name. Instead, I loved him for his pain. That's the choice we all have. The judge's expression softened. Nath wiped his eyes. The judge requested a private meeting with Ethan. Small chambers. Judge, court reporter. Nath, Catherine, Ethan, child advocate. Ethan, do you understand Mommy wants to live with you? Ethan looked at Catherine. Silent. Baby, it's Mommy. You can talk to me. Ethan shrank into Nath's side. Long silence. It's okay, sweetheart. You don't have to. I want Zara. Ethan's voice was clear. The room froze. Zara sings. Zara stays. He looked at Catherine. Mommy left. Catherine reached for him, tears streaming. Ethan, I'm sorry. You said let go. His voice trembled, but didn't break. I did. You went away. The most consecutive words he'd spoken in 2 years. Catherine sobbed. Nath held Ethan, both crying. Back in the courtroom, the judge delivered her ruling. This court's primary concern is the child's welfare and stability. Ethan has made measurable progress under his father's current care plan. The mother's motives appear compromised by external pressures. She looked directly at Catherine. Full custody to Nathaniel Cross. Supervised visitation for Catherine Cross upon completion of court-mandated therapy. She turned to Nath. Continue Ethan's current therapeutic relationship with Ms. Coleman. Her final words rang clear. This child has found his voice. This court will not allow it to be silenced again. The gavel fell. On the courthouse steps, media shouted questions. Nath carried exhausted Ethan. Zara beside them. Mr. Cross, what do you want to say? Nath stopped. My son spoke today. That's all that matters. In the town car, Ethan fell asleep between them, his hand holding Zara's. Nath and Zara's eyes met over his head. Relief, gratitude, something deeper, unspoken. 2 months later, Dr. Rahman delivered the news they've been waiting for. Ethan's language development is age-appropriate. Neural pathways have solidified. The danger is past. Nath's shoulders sagged with relief. Zara's hand found his, squeezed tight. No more therapy? Nath asked. Just normal childhood development from here. Dr. Raymond smiled. You did it. Ethan chattered constantly now, making up for lost time. He attended kindergarten, made friends, came home with stories about recess and art class. He still loved music, played xylophone, tambourine, drum. His drawings covered the refrigerator, vibrant, colorful, everyone with big smiles and mouths. Nightmares were rare. When they came, he called for Zara. She always came. His relationship with Nath had transformed. Affectionate, close, normal father-son bond. They read bedtime stories together every night. The backyard was transformed for the celebration. String lights hung in trees, small stage in the corner, tables loaded with Zara's homemade cooking. Dr. Rahman arrived, Miss Chen, Ethan's school friends and their families, neighbors. Ethan ran around with other children, laughing, talking, completely normal. Harrison arrived alone, stiff in his suit, uncomfortable in the casual setting. He watched Ethan from a distance, the boy's joy, his chatter, his normalcy. After a while, he approached Zara. "I was wrong about you." The words came slowly, difficult. Long pause. "And about many things, including that factory fire." He handed her an envelope. Inside, legal documents. Settlement for her mother, generous enough for private care for life. College fund in Zara's name. A formal letter. Zara read it, tears streaming. Cross Industries' formal apology. Acknowledgement of negligence. Her father's name on a memorial scholarship fund. "I can't undo what my company did," Harrison said quietly, "but I can stop pretending it didn't matter." "Thank you." Zara's voice broke. "My father would thank you." Harrison looked toward Nath and Ethan playing catch. "He's lucky to have you." "They both are." His first genuine smile. "Welcome to the family, Miss Coleman." Ethan took the small stage, xylophone in hand. "I'm going to play a song Zara taught me." His voice rang clear and confident. He played and sang, simple melody about fireflies and summer nights, voice bright, joyful, unafraid. The audience clapped. Duraman wiped his eyes. Mrs. Chen cried openly. Nath watched, tears streaming. The boy who couldn't speak now performing for a crowd. After the performance, Ethan pulled Zara aside conspiratorially, handed her a folded drawing. Stick figures labeled Daddy plus Zara, a mommy and daddy. "Will you be my mommy for real?" Ethan asked. Zara's hand covered her mouth, tears falling. "Oh, sweetheart." Nath appeared, knelt beside them both. He's not the only one asking. He pulled out a simple ring. Delicate, meaningful. "I hired you to help my son. You saved us both. You taught me that love isn't something you buy or manage. It's something you give and receive." He looked into her eyes. "Stay, not as the help, not as the therapist, as family, as my partner, as his mother, as my wife." Zara laughed through tears. "I came here carrying so much anger. You gave me a reason to let it go. You gave me a family." "Yes, for real. For always." Ethan threw his arms around both. "Now we're a real family." Guests who'd gathered burst into applause. From 16 failed nannies to a family healed by love. This is the story that proves some things can't be fixed with money, only with showing up. If this moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe, because I bring you stories like this every week. Stories about hope, healing, and second chances. You don't want to miss what's coming next. And lastly, my mom said I can't reach 1,000 subscribers. Let's prove her wrong.